This, my friends, is the playbook.
Alrighty, meat and potatoes time. It's time for the good stuff. This is time for Week 3 game picks. Before we get into today's video, guys, I just want to give a special shout out to today's sponsors, starting with Goldfine Bowles, lawyers for the injured. Personal injury, workers' compensation, those are their two things, but any sort of legal advice, they're the people to call. Give them a phone call, 309-673-5144. Tell them we sent you, okay? And I'd also like to shout out SeatGeek for sponsoring today's video as well. Use promo code PlaybookSports on their website to get $20 off your first purchase of $30 or more. Let's get back to the video. Against the spread, again, last week Addison and I both went 10-6, Bobby 7-9, Colin and Sage 6-10. However, the lead, it's only a 4-game from Addison down to bottom, and Colin and Sage tied in last right now. But it's only a 4-game difference. That's 1 week. That is 1 week difference. So it is a lot of football to be played, a lot of picks to be made. We're going to start it with Thursday Night Football. We've got an AFC East matchup. New England Patriots going to the Meadowlands to take on the Jets. Currently, the line is Jets minus 6.5. Addison, I'm coming to you. Who are you taking in this one?
I'm going to go with my Jets.
Jets.
Last week, tough game against Tennessee, who I think's defense might be better than I anticipated.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, still got the victory. Thank you, Will Levis, for being bad. But on the other side of the ball is New England, and I think the Magic's ran out for the Patriots already this early in the season. It being at MetLife is interesting. This is their first game back after the Achilles injury for Rodgers, so obviously want to see him take some snaps. It'll be all fine, though. I think the Jets' defense is going to figure it out, be able to turn over Will Levis a couple of times in this football game. I think the Jets will cover by a touchdown. Garrett Wilson might go snag one as well. Give me the Jets here minus 6.5.
Okay, I like that. Sage, thoughts here?
I never thought I'd say this before these past 2 weeks, but give me the Patriots right here at plus 6.5. I mean, last week they took Seattle to OT, and their running game is just off the charts right now. I mean, Ramondre Stevenson is, I think, leading the league in broken tackles right now. Gibson also right behind him in that stat, and then their receivers are doing just enough to get by. Jacoby Brissett, he's a guy that is known for doing just enough to get by.
He is.
And their defense is playing kind of lights out right now. It's Patriots defense, Gerard Mayo defense, and they are disciplined. The Jets are also a little banged up right now. C.J. Mosley carted off the field. Jermaine Johnson out for the year with an Achilles injury.
That's a heartbreaker.
Yeah. And I think they're going to expose the middle of that field right there and just try to run it down their throats just like they have been the past 2 weeks. And if they can control that game, I mean, I don't think they'll win. I think it's a possibility, but I think it's going to be a lot closer than the 6.5 that they're showing. So, give me those New England Patriots.
Okay, I like it.
I love that, though.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, Patriots have surprisingly played well, beating the Bengals on the road, coming home and losing to the Seahawks in kind of tough fashion. My concern for the Patriots is the Jets have a very, very good defense, and when you look at what the Patriots did last week against Seattle, Hunter Henry had 8 catches for 109 yards. Next person in receiving yards, Jalen Polk with 12. Of the 149 yards, 109 of them went to Hunter Henry. I think the Jets are going to be ready for that. You've got to think the Jets are going to be ready for that. Now, I don't like the Jets' offense. I'm more than happy to say that. I think the Jets' offense still looks very dicey. Very dicey. Against Tennessee, they needed Will Levis to fall apart. They really did. They needed him to fall apart. Garrett Wilson only had, 4 catches for 40 yards maybe? Slowed down. I do think Braylon Allen is a sneaky pickup in fantasy football. If you can get hold of him, he is unbelievable. He's only 20 years old. The kid's a freak. I am going to take the Jets at home here. I love the 6.5 hook. Big fan of that. I will say I'm nervous because historically Patriots own the Jets. This is the AFC circle of life. I've already talked about it ad nauseum. But Bills own the Dolphins. Dolphins own the Patriots. Patriots own the Jets. Jets own the Bills. That's just how it goes. That's just the way the AFC world works. AFC East. So New England probably going to win this game, but I do really like the Jets minus the 6. I like them to cover if they're going to win. But it's either cover or lose outright. Those are the only options here. So that's where I'm going. Give me the Jets. Colin.
Yeah, I'm going back and forth because I really like the Patriots here in this spot. Just because the Jets defensively just can't stop the run. They've been struggling to stop the run. You talked about Mosley being out now. Hurts a lot. Jermaine, obviously, with the depth on the end. Hurts. I just have a weird feeling the Jets get a roll in this one. Home opener. They're either going to show out and win like 38-10 or they're going to lose outright.
Yeah, they're going to lose. Yeah.
So I think I'll go with the 38-10, which is not going to happen. But give me the Jets minus the 6.5 to start off their home.
Okay, the home run. The homes. Okay, I like it. They needed to beat the Titans last week. If they had started out 0-2, I mean, they might have fired Salah after the game. If they lost the Titans, they might have fired him after the game, honestly. They have to.
But then who steps up?
Exactly, yeah, Hackett. Yeah, that's what they should do. Yes, New York Jets fans. Fire Robert Saleh and promote Nathaniel Hackett to a lifetime guaranteed contract.
Rodgers player.
I was gonna say, I was just
player
thinking
coach.
that.
He already sort of is, it seems like. All right, let's get into Sunday's slate. First game we've got up here is New York Giants at Cleveland. I'm happy to go first on this one because it is everybody against the Giants until future notice for me. They're awful. They looked a little better, albeit against Washington's horrible defense. One of the worst defenses in the league, and you get 18 points. That's it. That's all you can get. You're going to lose to them when they can't score an offensive touchdown on your defense, but your offense literally can't score a touchdown. That is horrible. If I'm a Giants fan, man, watching what Saquon does for the Eagles and just watching how bad we are offensively, man, I am sick to my stomach. Addison.
I'm actually on the G-men here. Might not be loving Cleveland's roster as much as I thought. Neighbors 2 touchdowns last week. Very impressive.
Yeah, he's very good.
He's the only bright spot. That is all they have to look forward to in New York. Yeah. And it's just Cleveland's side of the offensive side of the football. It's so bad. I get Cleveland's defense is good, but this is just going to be an ugly football game that's low scoring. 6.5 points is a lot of points in a low scoring football game that I think it will be. Give me the G-men plus the 6.5. I just think it's going to be gross. I think they could come out with a dub here, no joke. I think Cleveland could be that bad. I know Jacksonville, they got the victory, but I don't know, man. If they can't get the football going on the run game, I think they're going to be in big trouble. But it's just going to be a close football game. Give me the G-men.
Okay, Sage.
Yeah, I do love Malik Neighbors, his little breaking out party last week. Absolutely beautiful to see on my fantasy team. Started him, helped me out a lot. Appreciate you. But like I said last week, I picked the G-men, and they didn't pull out for me. And I said I will not pick them again until they can prove that they'll do it for me. So I have to go with Cleveland right here. I mean, you really can only get 3 touchdowns out of that. 18 points because for some reason Brian Dable knew Graham Gano was hurt and then decided, you know what, I'm not going to activate our practice squad kicker. And then Graham Gano pulls his hamstring on the very first play of the game, and then he continues to be the holder for the game.
That's crazy.
I don't know what's going on there. I don't trust anything Brian Dable's doing. You're a good coordinator, dude.
Yes.
You're a great coordinator. Can't wait till next season. You're back with Josh Allen. Everything's going to be great. Something like that's going to happen, except Joe Brady looks great. So
Joe Brady's done well.
no, you don't have a job anymore. Sorry.
You're out of the league.
That's crazy. And that's really hard for me to say because I think Cleveland is not a good football team right now. But it really is like the 2 worst kind of running games right now because the Giants, they have Devin Singletary, who scored last week, but still not doing much. And then Cleveland, who is on kind of fraud watch until Chubb comes back as Nick Chubb.
Yeah, right.
They don't have anyone else to really throw to. Amari Cooper's kind of laying eggs
He's
everywhere.
sucked this year.
He's
really
been
sad
so
about it.
bad.
I'm really
Jerry
sad.
Jeudy had a few good catches, but even then, like Deshaun Watson's not getting it done. I mean, I don't believe in any of them, but I believe in the Giants less.
Yeah, that's a reasonable take, I would say. Colin, coming over here to you, boss. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I've rode the Giants train twice this year. 0-2 against the spread.
Write it again. Come on.
And last week, there was a lot of that game. I was like, oh boy,
Giants.
we got some life.
Giants.
Outright.
Yeah.
And Devin Singletary, a couple runs, looked like a former number 26 for the Giants a couple times last week.
Saquon who?
Yeah, exactly. But I just can't lay Cleveland giving 6.5 right now with that offense. I think if Cleveland does win, I don't think they cover 6.5. So give me a third straight week. Dump the Chargers.
Third time's the charm, baby.
And I'm all of a sudden all over the New York Football Giants.
Oh my
so
gosh.
give me those Giants to cover 6.5.
Let's go.
I love it.
Like that a lot. Next up is our first rivalry game of the season, baby. We've got the Chicago Bears, Opal's Bears, taking on Bob's Colts. The current line is Indy minus 1.5 as the home team. It's going to be a good one, hopefully. Hopefully it's fun to watch. Colts can't stop the run. Bears can't run the ball. Something's got to give in this game.
Yeah.
This is a must-win game, I think, for both of these teams. Yeah. Maybe less so for the Bears, but if the Colts lose this one and fall to 0-3, that's the season. That's probably it, right? I mean, 0-3 is probably impossible to come back from the way things have looked. Oh, I'm gonna take the Bears plus the 1.5. I am. I cannot see anything. The Colts knew the entire game plan of the Packers. Malik Willis has been here for 20 days. He does not know the offense. He can hand the ball off, and they still couldn't stop him. Like, hey, we're gonna run the ball. Stop us. And they're like, nah, we can't do that. That's silly. We can't do that. That's a problem. That's a serious problem that Indy's got to figure out. Can the Bears run the ball? We'll find out. They're not as good of a running team as Green Bay is, but we will see. Give me the Bears plus the 1.5. Colin.
Yeah, going back and forwards, just trying to get an edge on this game. I just don't trust Indy right now on either side of the ball, really. Their defense, you knew Green Bay's whole game plan can't stop it. Offensively, Richardson does look like a true first-year quarterback, even though it's his second year technically. Whereas on the Bears side, I do trust that defense and the special teams there. Yes, their offense has been a little lackluster, but their defense is keeping them in games. And right now, Indy looks like a turnover-prone offense. And I think the Bears might be able to capitalize off of one or two of those and end up covering this game. Give me the Colts minus 1.5.
Colts minus 1.5. Pass this to Sage.
I don't
love it. It's ugly, but you take them. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bears here. I just think Indianapolis is a little too volatile for me to trust anything right now. I mean, last week you had Green Bay with Malik Willis, and you couldn't stop them. They had 237 yards on rushing before halftime.
Yes. Yeah. That's awful.
That's awful. I believe the third most since like the merger, which is absolutely insane. And if that happens again, I mean, Chicago doesn't have a line or a running back or anything else, but I mean, you could probably get 100 yards.
Yeah.
You know, you would hope they'd get 100 yards rushing right there. But Indianapolis also doesn't have a secondary really. I mean, their one secondary that they were really looking forward to, Brent's, he's out. Everyone else is kind of dog water right now, and Chicago has a little banged up at wide receiver, but I'm really hoping that something's got to give. Caleb Williams has to get his first touchdown eventually.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's to DJ Moore, who looks clearly frustrated on the sideline.
He needs to catch one.
He needs something to boost that morale over there. I think they're going to try to feed DJ Moore to keep him happy, keep him satisfied, and I think that'll be enough to get within striking distance of this game and pull it out at the end. Just because the spread is so little, might as well give me Chicago money line right here. Give me that defense in Chicago.
Okay. Addison, our Bears fan.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, Colin, you pretty much touched on it. The one good phase of football in this is the Bears' defense. Yeah, the special teams as well, sure. But the defense is the one actually plus side of either team's offense or defense. The way that the Indianapolis defense has looked this year, if Caleb Williams and the Bears offense can't move the ball, the alarm bells need to be as loud as they can be. They're already playing a little bit, but they need to get full volume if they can't move the ball against a bend-don't-break defense that is breaking every possession. And you touched on it, the running game. The Bears need to run the ball against a depleted defensive line of the Colts as well. Latu's looking like he's going to be out. Buck's looking like he's going to be out. This is an opportunity for the Bears. Sure, it's on the road. But with the way the Colts have played, like you said, Colin, as well, the turnovers that the Colts offense have had, the Bears defense looks great. They were able to contain C.J. Stroud as much as they did. I think they were able to turn over the Colts a couple times. They got to take advantage, though, of the defense right now on the Indy side of the football. But give me the Bears here, 1-0 or 1-1 actually. I lost week 1 because the Titans. Bears did cover. Bears actually covered both weeks this year, so come on, baby. Give me the Bears here to cover and win money line.
Yeah.
Come on.
When it comes to the Bears rushing attack, I mean, how much are they paying DeAndre Swift? Because he, like, $7 million a year, he's $321. Is that the game, something like that? $320.
Exactly,
it's something along those lines. I mean, he's 24 carries for 48 yards through 2 games, man. That's just not gonna. Like, Caleb Williams is the leading rusher. Yeah. 10 carries for 59 yards.
I'll say this. Swift, he looks like he slips, like he's willing to go to the ground. But I'll also say this, man. There have been multiple runs where
he's
he
hitting the
doesn't
back
have anybody.
No shot, no chance. Yes,
no running back is doing anything, and it's like, and if they are, they're getting back to the line at most.
Yeah.
But you got to see more out of him. It's like he was an addition that we
paid you to come in. We need you. Need something.
But the offensive line has been bad.
Bad.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm interested to see if Latu's out for sure, or Buccaneers out. They're trending, it looks like, to being out, and that's huge because the Bears' offensive line can't block interior. No. I mean, if Buckner and Stewart play, I think the Colts probably maybe win the game because the Bears won't be able to run or hold the pocket up. But if Latu's out and all those guys in the D-line are out, like that's how you're going to beat the Bears is by getting pressure on Caleb Williams, which isn't too hard right now. But if you don't have anybody to rush the passer, good luck.
Yeah.
If you're going to actually let him sit back there and go through all of his reads and slow the game down, that's when the Bears will see some improvement.
But he's not pressured. He's
doing fine. He's doing just fine.
Pressured on every
snap.
Yeah.
I mean, they had 36 pressures in the game, which you can have 2 players get a pressure on the same play, 3 players get a pressure on the same play. So that number's
It's just
up.
even blitz, too.
Like 36 pressures in 37 dropbacks
It's
last
just
week.
blitz in general. And
Yeah.
even if it doesn't get home, it still is impacting him.
And
Obviously, they all get home. But even if you don't, if you just blitz and the pressure doesn't get there, his numbers are still down off the blitz. It's like if they play zone, which is what the Colts do.
Right.
So we'll see. The Bears got to look good this week.
Bears have to look good this week.
Defense. So
Offensive
they got to
line
be licking
needs
their
more.
chops with the way the Colts have looked.
Yeah. The offensive line was beaten by Houston running stunts.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's nothing new. This is not a new thing that they're not shocking the world by running a stunt. It's a very basic thing on a defensive line, and the Bears' offensive line just wasn't communicating. Got to get that sorted out. Next game, Houston Texans at Minnesota. Battle of two 2-0 teams. Surprisingly, a very good game. Not long ago, I would have been hammering Houston by 10. I would have bet before the season, if you told me this is a week 1 game, it's Houston minus 6.5, 7.5 maybe. 2.5 points. It's a close one. Addison, you marked yours off quick.
Yeah,
What
I
you
did.
got?
I like Houston in this game against Minnesota. I just think the injuries on the offensive side of the ball for Minnesota scare me a little bit. Is everybody going to be 100% if they are out there? I don't know. And on the Houston side of the ball, I do know that at least the quarterback's there and the receivers are there. Joe Mixon might be a question mark, but I don't think it's going to matter. 2.5, sure, they're on the road, but I think that's just too small of a spread for Houston in the way they've looked. I think they could score 28, 35 points in this game, albeit Minnesota's defense has looked good. And Purdy in that soundbite, he went up to Flores and said, "You've got a great scheme, man. It's elite." But I think C.J. Stroud is one of the guys that it might not even be that great against because he's just that much better. So give me C.J. Stroud here and the boys to cover that 2.5.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I think Houston's just better in all 3 facets. I think it's a low-scoring game, and they win it by a field goal. I really see like a 20-17 victory here. So eventually, Sam Darnold is going to be stopped. He still is Sam Darnold. I know he's played very well. Very happy for him. I love the under in this football game. More on that maybe later. Even I'm trying to look up exactly what it is at the moment. 45.5. Yeah, I love that number. Because I think Minnesota's defense has been excellent so far this year. Shout out Brian Flores. Dallas Turner did get hurt last game, but they've still got Jonathan Grenard. They just Brian Flores can coach a damn good defense. He is very good defensively. A horrible head coach, horrible human being, very good defensive coordinator. Very good defensive coordinator. So he's got him cooking. Stroud did, the Vikings defense is, I don't think, as good as the Bears defense, and it's not like Stroud lit him on fire or anything. It was in Houston on Sunday Night Football. So going to Minnesota against a red-hot Minnesota team that's coming off of a huge win over San Francisco, I'm kind of talking myselk into Minnesota a little bit, aren't I? Wow,
Yeah.
How'd that happen?
I've only said
positive about Minnesota. I'm going to take Minnesota. I'm changing my pick to Minnesota, man. I talked myself into it. Give me Minnesota to cover the 2.5. Shit, I don't know. Colin? I got nothing now.
Yeah, I'm heading the opposite direction. I am going to go Houston here minus the 2.5 as well. I just love the number 2.5. Ultimately, you already talked about it. At some point, I do think Darnold, the real Sam Darnold, please stand up. I think at some point he does stand up, and you talked about it, all facets of Houston, offense, defense. Kai Fairbairn, their kicker even hammers and bombs.
Yeah.
It's like I was unfamiliar with your game, sir.
I'm back on Houston.
450 maybe? 450 yarders so far?
Yeah.
5 even?
I'll say 59, but give me Houston minus 2.5. I think they continue to roll.
Yes, I am. If you didn't hear, I'm back on Houston minus 2.5. Go ahead, go to Sage.
Yeah, I'm also going to roll with Houston over here. Gosh, no, Minnesota, I do have a ton of respect for them this year. Obviously, they're scheming up everything they can on offense and defense.
But Houston, I just think out-talents them, especially with Jefferson being a little day-to-day right now. Jordan Addison, we don't know what's going on with that. Is Jalen Naylor going to be their number one wide receiver on Sunday? That's a potential.
If Jefferson can't go, that'd be ugly.
Yeah, that'd be a little worrisome. But then they become a little one-dimensional, and I believe Houston with the Danielle Hunter revenge game on the docket.
Yeah, and Jonathan Grenard.
Yeah, they literally just switched, but I think Houston won that deal. I mean, I think they have a better pass rusher.
Hunter's better than him right
Even
now.
though Jonathan Grenard's nothing to sneeze at, you know?
Right, no, he's solid.
I think he's solid, but he's not Danielle Hunter, and that's okay. That's okay, dude. You still got your money. But I just think they have more firepower in Houston. Hopefully Joe Mixon comes back. They can run the ball on Minnesota's defense, and like you said, Colin, that 2.5 is just too good looking to pass that up. So give me Houston.
Okay, all right, all four of us on Houston. I like it. It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a good game though. I do like them to win by 3. I think Vegas is onto something with that one.
A few games this week that
Yeah.
you never would have thought would have been good before we won.
But they're gonna be good. Like this one, Philadelphia, New Orleans. Before the year, I'm like, oh baby, Philly, easy. New Orleans is favored minus 2.5 points in this game, and I'm taking them, baby. I'm on the Saints right now. I've been like big against the Saints in the last several seasons, rightfully so. They haven't done anything. They look excellent right now in all phases of the game. The offensive line's moving. I love Talize Fuanga at right tackle for them. He has been locked down for them. The offense is playing really, really well. Rashid Shaheed has been catching bombs left and right. They look awesome. And Philly just absolutely caked their pants. Just filled their pants in primetime Monday Night Football. Vic Fangio and that nice soft cover defense when the game's in the line, it's going to fail them. It's going to fail them multiple times. I've seen it happen in person. It's going to fail them. Vic Fangio just doesn't know how to not play prevent defense. What are you doing, man? God, that was annoying. Yeah, give me the Saints. Almost a spite pick here. Give me the Saints.
Yeah, don't want to overreact after the Saints just beat the piss out of my Cowboys this past weekend. But Phillies defensively is what caught me kind of towards the end of that game. Once again, they have trouble stopping the pass. They have 0 pass rush in general. And I think Bijan kind of set the blueprint last night. He looked explosive. I think the Saints just continue to roll. Kamara has another good game, so give me the Saints minus the 2.5 at home.
Okay. Addison.
Especially if A.J. Brown is still...
Yeah, that's true. That's big that he's out. I am going to take the Philly Eagles here, plus the 2.5. The Saints have looked explosive. Like you said, Nate, second most points in NFL history through 2 weeks. That's very impressive. And I do think New Orleans' offense could feast against Philly's defense. If the front four is not getting pressure in Vic's system, you're not creating pressure because he doesn't blitz often.
He doesn't blitz.
And that's a problem right now in Philly. But on the offensive side of the ball, 2 6s there. And for a while, it looked like he got sort of phased out of the offense even after the dominant start he had. I think last week showed, let's just pound the rock, get him 20-plus carries, in addition all the catches he's going to get. He needs to be the focal point of the offense. I'm going to take Philly here plus the points. I just think everybody's going to be looking at New Orleans and the way they've started and be, oh, man, they're going to be dominant at home. Give me Philly to come in and surprise with the plus 2.5.
Sage.
New Orleans has given me no reason to pick against them this year, so I'm going to go with New Orleans right here. I think Philadelphia is going to struggle a little bit. Not having A.J. Brown for a second straight week is going to hurt them. That becomes a little more manageable. They can kind of split their time defensively for New Orleans between Devontae and Saquon right there. I mean, the tush push is obviously still effective, but you got to get there first.
Yeah.
And this New Orleans defense, they look legit too. I think their scheme is just absolutely crazy. I mentioned Clint Kubiak earlier in the episode, but guys, he looks legit. And if you really think about it, Derek Carr probably hasn't been as bad throughout his career as we've thought.
Terrible coaching.
Well, yeah. Think about the coaches he's had. He's had John Gruden, who has only had, out of his 17 years of calling plays, 8 times a top 10 pass offense. Mm-hmm. He's had Josh McDaniels, who without Tom Brady has been nothing, and Pete Carmichael, who without Drew Brees has been nothing. So all of a sudden he gets Clint Kubiak and goes absolutely bananas. And we're all kind of surprised, but hey, like he's shown flashes of this before, but things have derailed it, yada, yada, yada. So hopefully, I mean, they have all the pieces to put it all together. I'm going with New Orleans. I'm excited about them this year.
Me too. I am.
They're the most surprising team this year, I think.
100%.
So far.
I would agree. Yeah, I agree. Although I think you could make an argument that the 2 teams playing in this next game are also 2 surprising teams. The fact they're both 2-0. Los Angeles Chargers going to Pittsburgh to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers right now, minus 1.5 is the line. And I was looking at stats, and I thought about making this as like a blind reveal. Who are these two quarterbacks? Because you'll never know. Justin Herbert on the year, 274 yards, 3 touchdowns, a pick. Justin Fields on the year, 273 yards and a touchdown. I mean, they are playing identical football. And they're just running the ball and playing defense. And that's exactly what Jim Harbaugh wanted in L.A. And I'm really mad at myself for not taking Justin Herbert's under season-long passing yards because it was like 3,700. He's not going to sniff that at this rate. He's not going to sniff it. They don't throw the ball. They don't throw the ball. They're just a ground and pound team. And Pittsburgh can match their physicality. This is going to be a fun game to watch. It's going to be fun for those of you who like dirty football because this is going to be a hard-nosed game. There's nothing pretty about this football game. This is going to be two teams who say, I'm going to run the ball, and I'm going to stop your run. And they're each going to try and match up, and it's going to be fun to watch. Man, I think I'm going to take the points. I think I'm going to take plus 1.5 and take the Chargers here. I don't like it. I haven't been a big Chargers proponent. I was very harsh on them in the offseason. I can't believe they already have 2 wins. I can't believe it. I didn't think they'd have 2 wins until November. I didn't. And their passing game is just as bad as I assumed it would be, but they're running the ball and playing great defense. We'll see how that offensive line holds up against a good pass rush. Because you got to think about who have they played. The Raiders, who are awful, and the Panthers.
Whoa,
Raiders are awful.
At least not their pass
Panthers.
Should
Yeah.
be my honorable mention, honestly.
And the Panthers. So, like, the Chargers should be 2-0. They played the Raiders at home. How about that? They got them at home.
Yeah.
Wait, you should beat the Raiders when you're at home, right? No.
Oh.
No. Wait. I'm not done with you yet, mister. We're just getting started. And the Panthers, I mean, are bad, like straight up bad. So we'll see what the Chargers have going for them after this game, but I'll take them. I'll take them to beat Pittsburgh. Colin, coming to you.
2-0 teams that none of us would have picked to be 2-0. But give me the Steelers at home here. I just think T.J. Watt enough can, cover this 1.5. Safety 2-0 wins it. But realistically, this is going to be like a 16-13 game with like 2 touchdowns, 5 field goals, and it's
The over-under is 35.
yeah, right about there.
17,
I don't think either team's going to light it up. A lot of time in possession, a lot of groundwork. But give me the Steelers at home. I think their front seven can hold up a little better.
Yeah, I like that. Addison.
I'm on the Chargers here, plus the 1.5. We pretty much touched on it. Very similar styles of offenses for both these teams. Pittsburgh's defense definitely better than the Chargers, just with T.J. Watt alone. But this is going to come down to the quarterback play. And I think with 2 tough running teams, limited possessions, it's going to come down to who's scoring touchdowns in the red zone. The Steelers have scored 1 all year. Herbert threw for 2 last week alone to Quentin Johnson. Breakout. Yeah. Watch out. But give me Chargers and give me Herbert making plays in the red zone for why the Chargers cover the 1.5 on the road.
Okay. Sage.
Give me those Los Angeles Harbaughs.
Yeah, the Harbaughs, baby.
Los Angeles Ravens.
Love them so much. Yeah, those Los Angeles Ravens. That's all I know.
They play all the good Ravens,
Apparently. Apparently. But also, when you look at that offensive line, I think they might be one of the only offensive lines that can slow down this Pittsburgh D-line.
Really.
Joe Alt.
Joe Alt?
Control Alt.
TJ
Joe
Watt
Alt,
better not
delete.
line up on that side.
Rayshon Slater.
Rayshon Slater?
Rather go against him.
It looks good. It's looking good over there, and I think the only way to really neutralize some kind of those defensive lines is to run right at them. Mm-hmm. And guess what they do? Run the ball. Run the rock. J.K. Dobbins, 130 yards and a touchdown again this week.
Yeah.
Gus Edwards, he's great in that short yardage situations. I'm so excited for this team. The culture has legitimately changed around so much in the past year. Quentin Johnston scoring touchdowns.
Yeah, that's crazy.
2 touchdowns.
Crazy. That's how you know this year's weird.
It's just so strange right now. I mean, they're doing just enough with their passing game and just running the rock at you. And there's only so much you can do with that. I think Pittsburgh is a pretender right now. I mean, they're taking what the defense gives them, but they haven't really played anyone. I mean, the Broncos are a joke, and they are a joke. And the first week they played the Falcons, who were not figured out yet. No. Kirk Cousins clearly isn't figured out yet, even though he led that game-winning drive. But I mean, they still don't look great.
Best, though. Like, that's the most comfortable situation for a quarterback, the 2-minute drill. It's all of the first week of install plays.
Yep.
The best plays, these are the ones we know the very best. Let's hit them. And you don't have to think about it. Just run the play. Run the play.
Yep.
It's perfect.
Well, I was watching the Manning cast, and he basically said every time they went into no huddle, that's when they were moving the ball.
Yes, and it's true.
That's when it was.
It's okay, now this play, go.
Yep.
This play, go.
So, honestly, just do no huddle the entire time. I don't care what you're doing, Falcons, but make sure that happens. But going back to Pittsburgh, Justin Fields can't sustain this for much longer. And L.A.
hasn't done anything.
He hasn't really done much. But if anyone can contain that, it's going to be L.A. with Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa on both sides, and their rookie linebacker, Colson, absolutely dominating.
I will say the Steelers' biggest issue is that offensive line still. Like, Broderick Jones got benched. He committed a holding penalty. He pulled him out of the game, and he's over there complaining to the coach, and the coach just basically said, shut up and sit down. Like, you're bad right now, dude.
It's a scary game for Pittsburgh.
Yes, it is. This is going to be a slobber knocker, a true old-fashioned slobber knocker of a football game. Next up, we've got Denver Broncos and Bo Nix, and I'm not going to parade because it's only week 2. It's only week 2. America, I told you Bo Nix was no good. I told you this kid stunk. 0 touchdowns, 4 picks. Yikes. Terrible. And Sean Payton, are you sure you got your guy? Are you sure you would, are you sure?
Trade it up for them?
They tried to, but they couldn't. They had to stay, and they took Bo Nix. He tried to tell everybody we were gonna. They thought they were being smart. Sean Payton's like, "Oh, I tricked Minnesota, and I was gonna say I was gonna trade up, and he didn't." And Minnesota took JJ. Yeah. Bo Nix stinks. He is who we thought he was, and Tampa Bay is scorching hot. Minus 6.5 points. I absolutely love Tampa Bay in this spot. I feel like it's a sucker play though. Like as I'm talking, I'm like, shit. Denver's gonna cover.
It's scorching hot. I said, oh, they're not covering.
Oh, they're not covering. Oh no, I'm gonna ride with them because I can't justify not. But give me Tampa Bay.
No, I'm also on Tampa Bay as well. The offensive side of the football will be able to score points, and Denver's will not. It pretty much boils down to that. Like you said, Bo Nix can't move the ball unless it's short passes. And if you take that away, they're nothing. And Tampa Bay has weapons pretty much any level, and Baker Mayfield's slinging the rock. It's simple as that. Tampa Bay minus 6.5.
Yeah, I'll keep it short and sweet. I think Tampa Bay is going to win this game. I think they're lucky that Vita Vea got hurt last week. Give them a week to rest up against this terrible Denver Broncos offense, and just take care of business at home. I mean, you can really play like cover 2 the entire time. And
Yeah.
Pretty easy there. Done. Sold.
pretty much, yeah. And then you're pretty good. Yeah, just take care of business.
Yeah.
There's not much else to say.
No. I mean, Bo Nix is the leading rusher on their team with 60 yards. So they're not using Javonte Williams. He's thrown the ball 77 times. He's completed 46
don't say any of
passes.
that. I'm trying to trade him off to Addison.
I saw that. He went to Olave.
For Bo Nix, straight up, 1 for 1.
No. It's Javonte and I think George Pickens.
It was DJ Moore.
DJ Moore.
Oh,
DJ
that's
Moore.
how he was trying
That's
to
what
get
I
it.
tried.
DJ Moore.
He tried to get Mike Evans from me last year, too.
Yeah.
I said,
Nice buy low spot for you, Addison.
Yeah, by low.
No, last week more lock Denver plus the 3. Was 3.5? It was 3.
It was 3.
Loved it. Got down in the red zone, they couldn't score. Red zone pick, and then late in the game they settled for the 3 to cut it to 7 to not cover. I was really praying they get the touchdown and
And
push.
then to go for a field goal.
And then go for the field goal later. Can't get it done. I think Denver, wash, rinse, repeat. I don't think they can get in the end zone. I just don't. And Tampa right now is rolling a high. They're in all of our top 5 power rankings. So I'm going to roll with Tampa minus 6.5 and hope they can take care of business at home.
They're going to lose outright. No. Oh, shoot. All right, let's get back into Green Bay at Tennessee. Surprising line here of Tennessee minus 2.5. I think that speaks more so to Tennessee's run defense being solid. Jeffrey Simmons and Tavondre Sweat are actually good defensive linemen. And Malik Willis went 12 of 14 for 100-something yards and 1 or 2 touchdowns? 1 touchdown maybe? 2? I don't know now because I'm curious. Was it 1 touchdown? Okay. He doesn't know the offense still. The Colts just couldn't stop the run, even though they knew that's what they were going to do. Yeah, 1 touchdown. 12 of 24, 12 of 14 for 122 and a tud. Josh Jacobs will have a lot harder sledding this week against Tennessee, but god dang is Will Levis bad.
Yeah.
Will Levis is bad. Also, Malik Will's revenge game. True. Well, last week I was like, there's no way the Colts aren't going to win this game, but I took Green Bay anyways. Once again, I'm going to take Green Bay to cover the 2.5 here. I don't know if they're going to win, but Callahan is pissed at Levis. You saw him screaming at him as he ran off the sideline. What the fuck are you doing? Because he is trying to do the most insane shit I've ever seen on a football field.
These press conferences afterwards where he's just tearing them apart.
Yeah, like that's kind of a problem, right? We clearly have an issue between head coach and quarterback.
Mason Rudolph is coming off the bench soon.
He might, if he comes off in this game, I might want Tennessee actually, but I'm gonna go with Green Bay to cover the 2.5. I think Green Bay wins this game outright. Tennessee is in absolute shambles. Will Levis, I don't think he's the guy, and he's showing that right now. He's just too we're talking up that touchdown pass to Ridley. If either of the Jets defenders turn and find the ball to pick, it literally fell right over their shoulders. Put your hands out, catch the ball, easy pick. But it was a great throw. But Will Levis just doesn't know what he's doing back there, man. He's lost, and Callahan is not pleased with him. So I'm going Green Bay. Colin.
Last week, Green Bay, SeatGeek Dumbass Pick of the Week at home as dogs, covers, and wins outright. And we're running it back. SeatGeek Dumbass Pick of the Week, second week in a row. Saw the post-game in locker room kind of video they released of LaFleur, that everyone's coming together.
Yep.
And that alone just gets me bricked up. And so
Rallying.
I'm taking Green Bay here. I think even with Levis, I don't care about the revenge game, even though we're going to be saying it 100 times between now and Sunday.
Revenge tour.
I do think Green Bay, just coaching from a coaching aspect, they have an identity. And even if he's only going to throw it 10 to 15 times in this game again, I think they still have enough to win, or at least cover the 2.5 here.
I agree. Addison, going with the Titans, huh?
No, I'm going with Green Bay plus the 2.5 here as well. And I mean, this clearly tells me Love will probably sit again, especially after getting a W last week. But LaFleur being the head coach and drawing up the offense and calling plays, I think he's going to be a key to this one. The run game, sure, you might not be able to go up the middle, but you might be able to drop some stuff to the outside. I still anticipate Green Bay to be able to move the ball on the ground, even against some great D tackles there in Tennessee. And then this basically boils down to I don't trust the offensive side of the football for Tennessee, even with their starting quarterback. And that pretty much is as easy as it gets. Give me Green Bay plus the 2.5. I would not be shocked if they won this game outright.
I would be shocked if they won this game outright. I'm going with Tennessee Titans right here. I think I'll take it. That's fine. I'll take a win on all you guys right now. But I believe in Tennessee right now, just against Green Bay. Green Bay last week, they played a terrible secondary. This week they have L'Jarius Sneed, Chidobe Awuzie, and Roger McCreary. You know, that's a little scarier. Plus, their run defense in Tennessee is a lot better. A ton better than Indy's last week, right? Plus, Marshawn Lloyd back to IR.
Yeah,
you know, he got hurt, and then he came back in for one game, and then got hurt right away. So Josh Jacobs, how much can you sustain? How much can you run the ball? Are you going to be this bell cow for the entire game when you're going to be running the ball probably 30 times? Yeah. It's all going to come down to you, and I don't think Malik Willis really has the arm to really compete against this secondary right now. So give me Tennessee. I think Will Levis last week scored 17 on the New York Jets defense, and I think he'll probably only have to score about 17 this week.
Yeah, I think so. That'll probably do it. All right, last noon game for the Sunday slate here. We've got the Carolina Panthers traveling to Vegas to take on the Raiders. I mean, is Andy Dalton going to come out and do it? Is Andy Dalton going to come out and run the offense? I think he will. I never wanted to pick Carolina, but with Bryce Young not playing, which, by the way, probably they should just go ahead and trade him. Honest to God, they should probably just trade him. They're not going to go with. They don't think he can win them football games. Canales doesn't think he can win them football games because otherwise, what's the point of benching him? If you're not, do they want to win this year? Is that why you're going to Dalton? Do we want to win this year, Carolina? Are we sure we can? Because
we had this talk last year, though. Actually, in Week 3, when he got benched.
Was it?
Week 3 for Andy Dalton.
Did he get benched last year in Week 3 also? Oh, my God, that's funny. What did they do? Do you remember if they won Week 3?
Let me check.
Let me know. I'm going to go with Carolina plus the 5.5 here and probably feel stupid when they get absolutely slaughtered. Oh, man, I hate it. But I like Andy Dalton to run the offense. I think Andy Dalton knows what he knows his stuff. Adam Thielen was visibly frustrated running off the field. Throw me the damn ball. Bryce Young has lost every ounce of confidence. He has no confidence in the system. He has no confidence in his arm. He has no confidence in the offensive line. And if that's the case, you're never going to win. You're never going to succeed back there. So
no, he did not win, but he put up 27 points.
I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, I'm going to go Carolina here to cover. I am concerned about Wilkins and Max Crosby wrecking this, but I'm going to go ahead and go with them. Colin?
Yeah, I almost went SeatGeek Dumbass Pick of the Week for this game, but I just don't believe in Carolina. I mean, with the quarterback change, I do think they probably do have more success offensively. However, defensively, they're going to be just as bad.
Yes.
So I anticipate Vegas covering the 5.5 here at home.
Nate, I'm on Carolina with you, plus the 5.5. I think Andy Dalton will at least be able to have a competent offense, score 14. I think that might be able to do enough to keep them close. Vegas last week with a big win against the Ravens after a little bit of a choke, but still. Give me Carolina here, plus the 5.5. Andy Dalton says this is how you do it, kid.
How you do it, yep. Watch me. I like it. Sage.
Colin, we're going to pick up another win right here. We're going to catch back up because I'm taking Las Vegas right here as well. I think Max Crosby and Christian Wilkins against an even worse offensive line than they played last week. They're going to be getting some sacks, getting some pressure on old Red Rifle. And Brock Bowers is a guy. Yeah, and Carolina has nobody to cover that guy. So I think Zamir White's probably going to have a little better rushing game this week. They'll be able to spread the ball around to Devontae Adams, Brock Bowers, Jacoby Myers. They got the weapons. Give me Las Vegas.
Okay, I like it. That's it for the noon slate. We're moving on to the 3 o'clock game, starting with your Miami Dolphins traveling to Seattle to take on the 2-0 Seahawks. Quiet 2-0. None of us had them anywhere really sniffing our power rankings, I don't think. And 2-0 is not bad. Coming off of an overtime win, took the Patriots to overtime, and they've beaten the Broncos. So they haven't played anybody. To be fair, they beat Bo Nix and they beat Jacoby Brissett. The line has moved somewhat in Miami's favor, but we're sticking with the 5.5. If you're betting it live, it's currently 4.5 for Seattle, but we're staying with the 5.5 we have written down for continuity's sake. 2 on the IR. It will be Skylar Thompson going out there. Oh, God, I don't like it. And I'm not going to pick against Miami. I can't do that. That'd be silly. Kenneth Walker out hurt. Who knows if he's going. Jerome Baker's hurt. They're banged up. Seattle's hurting. Miami's hurting. It's ugly. Mike McDaniel versus Mike McDonald. Love the matchup of coaching. I need something out of Mike McDaniel this week. I got to see something, man, because these other coaches are getting it done with backups. You've got to be able to get it done with a backup, too, and should be able to cover 5.5. I'm going to take Miami on the road. Colin.
I will have the Marino under the Romo at 3 o'clock this week. However, Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet, doesn't matter who's in that backfield. I just do not trust Skylar Thompson at all. And you saw what the Bills really did in the first half, especially last week against Miami on the ground. I think Seattle can kind of replicate the same thing while still having that outside threat with DK and Lockett and Jigba, who had a big week last week. So give me Seattle minus the 5.5. I just don't trust Thompson the first week as a starter now.
No.
Yeah, I'm on Seattle here. I would take Seattle even if Tua was healthy. The offensive line for Miami been an issue a little bit this year. In Seattle, Mike McDonald's licking his chops, thinking about how he can get some pressure this upcoming week. And Colin, you touched on it. Nate, the backups around the league, they're all better than Skylar Thompson. And that's basically what I think this is going to boil down to. Is it worth it to save money for your backup? Well, Miami's the answer to that, and we'll see this Sunday when they get mollywopped by Seattle. I think they're going to cover big time, unless they do something crazy, like you said. Put Tyreek back there. Get him the ball, because if they're not, how are they going to get him touches?
Bo Nix.
How are they going to get him touches?
Is Bo Nix significantly better than Skylar Thompson, or would you say they're close? Bo Nix has 4 picks, no touchdowns, and it was a 6-point game in Seattle.
I'm saying Bo Nix is better just because I think Skylar Thompson, like literally – every single time I watch the Dolphins, he literally can't move the ball with the elite weapons they have, the great run game they had. Everything falls apart when he comes in. Yeah. He's not an NFL caliber player. Sorry, I'm not. But like at the end of the day, like Thompson is there because you saved money for the Dolphins over Mike White, and now you reap what you sowed. And enjoy Skylar Thompson until week 8 or until Huntley can figure out the offense. Seattle minus 5.5.
Okay. And for only a first rounder, you could have Trey Lance.
Well,
only at first.
Get him on the phone. Well,
yeah, I'm sorry, Nate, but it was sad to watch last week. Skylar Thompson came in almost immediately. They run the ball on 3rd down. It's 4th down, and he 3-step drop slips.
Falls down.
And then immediately gets sacked.
Yep.
It's like, dude, are you ready for this at all? I don't think he is. I think there's a reason they brought in Snoop Huntley, and I think it's to compete for the starting job while Tua's out on IR. I don't think it's for just depth. I think it's because, hey, we need to win a game or two to stay afloat until Tua gets back. And they know Skylar Thompson's not the guy. We know Skylar Thompson is not the guy. And Seattle knows Skylar Thompson is not the guy. With Mike McDonald's scheme.
Skylar Thompson's mother thinks he's the guy.
No.
I don't even think she does.
Definitely not. She told me.
Yeah, there's no. She told me.
She told me last night.
We do live close to Kansas City, which is where he's from.
We do. But no, Mike McDonald's going to come up with a hell of a scheme just to absolutely obliterate this man. Your only hope is Devon Achane getting like 170 yards on the ground. Which he could do, but not believable.
Very unlikely.
Are the Dolphins the only team in NFL history to get a Pro Bowl quarterback off a practice squad?
Maybe.
Might be. Free edition of a Pro Bowl QB. Can't be bad.
Can't be bad. Hey, fingers crossed. All right, Detroit at Arizona. This line surprised me a little bit. Lions -3 on the road. I love Arizona in this spot. I'm a big Arizona guy in this spot, man. Arizona has looked awesome offensively. Even against the Bills, they looked great without using Marvin Harrison Jr. Detroit couldn't stop Tampa Bay. They couldn't stop them. I think that Arizona's offense is as good as Tampa Bay's offense. Now, defensively, I don't know. I don't think that they're as good as Tampa. But Tampa Bay was missing how many starters last week, and they held them to 16 points. This is it's a dome. I'm pretty sure Arizona's also a dome because Jared Goff only plays in domes. It's nice of the NFL to do that for him.
Only 2 games outside.
Is it? Does he actually have 2? I honestly didn't know if he even had 2 outside. I'm sure Lambeau and Chicago. Yeah, so 2 outdoor games all season. I like Arizona plus 3 points at home. I like it a lot. Give me Arizona. Colin.
I have chosen way too many home teams, but that trend is not changing in this game here. I do like Arizona as well. Just looking at what their offense has done. Welcome to the league, Marvin Harrison Jr. Big week this past week.
Game against Colin.
Yep, I had him in our dynasty league, so I'll take it.
True.
But yes, I do like Arizona here at home. Interested to see, especially with Amon-Ra late in the game.
Yeah.
Little gimpy. So see kind of what's going on there. But give me those Cardinals. Those first half frisky.
First half
More to come.
frisky. More to come.
I'm also on Arizona plus the 3 here. It's Detroit's defense that scares me, and it's a home team getting points that I think has an electric offense and an elite QB running the show over there in Arizona. I'm riding with the Cardinals plus the 3. I could see a money line win here. Detroit might stumble out of the gates a little bit. Yeah.
I like it. Sage.
Y'all remember how I felt about Detroit 2 years ago, where I was just all on them. I was so excited. And this year...
Yeah, 2 years ago. I mean, what, 9-8, 2 years ago?
2 minutes ago, you're all over Detroit.
This year, Arizona's my team. I love Arizona. I love what they're building over there right now. Jonathan Gannon is that guy. He's a little weird, but I like it.
Very weird.
But no, Arizona's absolutely crushing the competition right now. They put up 28 points against Buffalo. They went crazy last week.
41 against LA.
41-10.
And Sean McVay did not lose to Arizona before this.
No.
He did not lose to Arizona.
They're not your mama's Arizona Cardinals.
Oh, that sucks.
No, but I love what they're doing over there. Detroit just seems like they're still getting things in gear right now. And as long as they're still figuring it out, I'm going to go with the other team. And the other team right now is Arizona, who I believe in. I'm excited about them. They're putting up numbers. Marvin Harrison Jr., he's going to go for 6 catches, 160 yards, and 2 tutties.
Oh, yes, sir. I love that. Who's going to cover him?
Who's going to cover? Wait, is he on your team?
He is on my team.
Oh, shit. We're playing each other in 2 leagues this week.
Oh, let's go.
All right.
Light you on fire. Oh, man. Yeah, I like Arizona in the spot. I like that they're getting the points. The offense has been awesome. And we got to talk about Detroit, too. Like I said it before the year, I'm not a huge Detroit believer. And Detroit barely beat the Rams, took them to overtime. The Rams, Arizona just destroyed the Rams. Both teams were home for their games, too. LA was on the road for both games. 41-10 at Arizona and overtime against the Lions. Yeah. James Conner looks the best he's ever looked. Yeah. So I like Arizona in that spot. Next up, second rivalry game of the week. Baltimore Ravens. The 0-2 Baltimore Ravens. The only team of the 4 of us here who are of legit Super Bowl hope, right? That's what we said, right? Yes. Baltimore minus 1.5 at Dallas. Previously, Dallas, last 16 games at home, 16-0. Unstoppable at home. Aggressively stopped last week. Aggressively shut down last week. I didn't know what I was watching. You called it. New Orleans went up 14-0 or 14-3, whatever it was, and you're like, the route is on. This game is over, and you were not wrong, sadly. Line right now, Baltimore minus 1.5. I'm going to take Dallas. I'm going to take Dallas at home. I am. I like them to bounce back at home. The Ravens have bummed me out this year, to be honest about it. They've bummed me out. I need to see more from the run game. I need Derrick Henry to play like vintage Derrick Henry, please and thank you. That's why I drafted you in fantasy. He's good for a touchdown a week, but I need some yardage. I need to see some grind and pound until they don't make a sound. So I'm going to take Dallas at home plus the 1.5 points. I like the point that I'm getting. Give me Dallas.
Yeah, I'm also on Dallas here plus the 1.5. Baltimore 0-17. No, I'm just kidding.
For real.
I will say, I thought Lamar could have maybe kept that not lateral today and maybe could have kept going. He should have just went for that shit, man. He should have. He really should have. It really could have been, dude. It really seriously. I thought for a second he had a slight bit of hope there, a little hole. Yeah.
If he jumped over him, which he could.
Dude, I was like, come on, man. That would have been wicked. But I'm on Dallas here plus a 1.5. I think Dallas' offense has showed up so far this year, and as long as they don't allow a touchdown every possession against Baltimore, they've got a chance. And I'm just going to ride with Dallas. Let's bump Baltimore down to 0-3 and make their road just a little bit harder. I'm on Dallas here plus a 1.5.
The Bears' road to the playoffs even harder.
Yeah, go ahead.
Are against.
That's fine with me, baby. That's fine with me. I like Dallas. I think their offense is legit, and it'll show up against the Ravens, and it'll be a close game. Give me the team at home plus the points.
Yep. Sage, what you got?
If you guys aren't with us at 0-2, don't jump on the wagon when we're 1-5. Give me Dallas right here.
Oh, baby.
Dallas hasn't lost in basically 2 years at home, and they're not going to do it 3 times in a row.
Yeah, no way.
Before that, right?
No way,
There's
right?
no shot they do that, right? So give me Dallas right here. I mean, against that defensive line, I mean, our offensive line, I already told you when I was dying on this table.
On the wings.
We're dog water. We're trash. Derrick Henry's not getting the ball. Marlon Humphrey, I know he got a pick last week. He still played like trash. I mean, I don't know what's going on. I don't care what's going on. We're getting Travis Hunter in the first round next year, and then we'll be back. But right now we're not. John Harbaugh, I think we should have let him fly off in the distance last year. Kept Mike McDonald. We'd be having a different story right now. But right now, John Harbaugh has the most losses with having a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter of the past 3 years, 11 of them.
Yikes.
But when you think about that, we were also up that many times in the fourth quarter. So obviously it could be a volume thing, but we just got to close out. And Baltimore has not been known to close out. We choke in January. Every single year, I'm like, this is the year. We just got to fix this one thing. We just got to fix this one thing. And this one thing is the only thing that's not getting fixed. So, like, why should I believe in you? I don't. And I've never said this as a Ravens fan. It was the Joe Flacco 2015 Ravens where I was like, you know what? Like, this might be the year. And I believed in every single year since. And this year, I'm just like, man, like, I don't know what it takes, but something's got to change. Yeah. I started watching football in 2008 with John Harbaugh. He's the only coach I've ever known.
That's crazy.
That's nice.
And I'm ready. I'm ready for him to fly his wings away. I know he'll get hired in a second. I know he would.
Yeah,
Someone will pick him up.
Immediately.
We need fresh blood. Whoa. We need something.
I'll take him. Come over to Miami.
All right.
Yeah,
Yep. Take him over to Miami. He's a special teams coordinator. So you take him.
He's the assistant head coach. He doesn't do
Okay.
anything. Just be in the building. Just be in the building.
And then you guys can lose by in the fourth quarter. Yeah, every time. You'll know my pain.
Hey, there you go, Colin. Talk about pain with me.
So we're not just only mirroring each other on the podcast here, being on the two ends, but whenever you say this is our year, only if we fix this one thing, why aren't we fixing this one thing? And I keep believing in them. That just screams the Dallas Cowboys and that rush defense. If we can just stop the run, we'll be a great team. And they just never fix it. And the only thing worse than the run defense is their run offense. I think Baltimore makes this a one-dimensional game very quickly whenever Zeke has 10 carries for 23 yards. And Baltimore is just running rampant because the one thing the Cowboys haven't faced this year with their rush defense being as bad as it is, yes, Deshaun Watson does have a little bit of mobility, but he's not Lamar Jackson. Derek Carr's not Lamar Jackson. You can't tackle when it's 10 guys you're going up against. Now you got to guard 11. I don't know. Give me Baltimore. In the history of our podcast going on year 3, I've probably picked Dallas, twice? 3 times? Never pick them. Picked them last week. Not making that mistake again. Give me Baltimore minus the 1.5 and a 30-point win.
Yeah, you never pick against Baltimore. Yeah,
I'm probably crying here
at 3 o'clock. Bobby's pick is in as well. He's going Baltimore minus 1.5 with Colin on this one. Next up, San Francisco at L.A. L.A. banged up, man. Probably the most hurt team in the NFL, I would say. Like, half their offensive line's out. The 2 receivers are out. No Kupp, no Nakua.
Coach is out.
Coach is out. McVay might. No, yeah, right. He's there as long as he wants to be. San Francisco minus 7.5 on the road. It's a home division dog. I can't take him. That dog needs to be put down because that home division dog in this game needs to be put down. The Rams are 0-2. Rams are 0-2 with 2 demoralizing losses. Yeah. An overtime loss to Detroit in a game they should have won. Then they lose Nakua, and then they get their backs blown out by Arizona. I mean, that was rated R. X. Rated X is right. I'm going to take the Niners in a bounce back spot here against the Rams. Who's going to move the ball for the Rams? The offensive line can't run block. They can't pass block. They don't have anybody to throw the ball to. How are you going to score points? I don't know. Give me San Francisco minus 7.5. Colin.
Out of principle, I really want to take the Rams, just being the home division dog. And
I know. And the 7.5, right? The half point.
I just can't do it. I can't do it. But even with Debo, I don't know the extent of his injury, but he's probably going to be out. And so I'm taking San Fran just because I don't know who's getting the ball.
Right. How are the Rams going to score? I don't know how the Rams are going to score. Kyron Williams, if somehow. Addison.
Yeah, I want San Fran here as well. It's just the depleted roster of the Los Angeles Rams. And the fact they're 0-2, they're going to fall to 0-3. The Super Bowl fall-off might have been a year later than everybody predicted. Yeah. Give me the San Francisco 49ers minus 7.5. I just, again, LA just doesn't have it offensively this week, and San Fran covers easy.
Sage.
Yeah, I mean, you said everything, Nate. I mean, the Rams are just so hit by the injury bug. And I think the worst part of it, I mean, yeah, you lose Nakua, you lose Kupp, but you also lost half your offensive line, which also wasn't good to start with. No, it wasn't. And then you're bringing in guys off the practice squad to say, hey, go guard San Francisco.
Yeah, Nick Bosa's coming.
Nick Bosa's coming, guys. And that's scary in itself. I mean, yeah, you can say San Francisco is missing Debo. They're missing CMC. They still have Ayuk, Kittle, Juszczyk, Jawan Jennings.
Mason's look solid.
Mason has been amazing. He's got 100 yards both weeks. I mean, how do you pick against San Francisco right here? You can't. I mean, we saw what the Rams did last week to Arizona.
41-10.
I would pick 49ers over Arizona.
Yep.
So my logic now becomes I will pick San Fran over LA. Yeah. Easy.
By the distributed property.
Naturally.
And as much as we talk about McVay owning the Cardinals,
Shanahan
kind of
owns
does
McVay
own
a little bit.
McVay.
Yeah. And McVay's coming in here with a wounded team.
Yeah.
I don't know how you ask them to win this game.
No horns.
No, there are no horns on that Rams. That thing is soft. Next up, we've got the Kansas City Chiefs Sunday Night Football going to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. Addison, yeah.
My Kansas City Chiefs, my second favorite team. They're 1B of the fandom I have for NFL.
All right, my Chiefs, my Eagles, my Bears.
Yep, got them all, man. Any Super Bowl contenders, I like them. Yeah, any of them.
Dolphins spread.
I just believe in Kansas City minus 3.5. If Philly was able to handle the job last week, Atlanta would not have a comeback win under their belt. I think if Kansas City is an opportunity to do something similar, they will get the job done. I understand it's on the road. Atlanta's defense has looked better with the new additions, but still the pass rush isn't going to be able to get home to Mahomes. That's the one question with Judon getting in there. Where is it? I want to see more of it. And it's not going to come against Kansas City and the magician man himself and Mahomes. I just think 3.5 is too close, albeit the Chiefs do suck at covering, but I don't care. 3.5 is too small. Give me Kansas City big time.
Goes at Sage.
Yeah, this is a really hard game to pick because of that 3.5. Yeah. I mean, I don't think Cincinnati's that good of a team right now, honestly.
They're not.
But Kansas City just finds a way to keep letting teams get close, and I think that trend continues. Give me Atlanta right here at home. They showed me something last week. They finally showed me something against a quality team. Philadelphia is a very good team. A lot of people had them coming out of the NFC to see Kansas City in the Super Bowl. Atlanta kind of took it to them last week, or yesterday?
Yeah, last night. Yeah.
Last night. And I think they're only going to get better. I mean, Kirk Cousins is only going to progress more. That offense is only going to progress more. Hopefully Kyle Pitts gets the ball a little more. I don't think Kansas City, that's their one weakness is covering tight ends, really. I mean, they got ate up even on Sunday versus the Bengals tight ends. Yeah. So if Kyle Pitts can get a game going, I think this is going to be a lot closer. I don't think they win, but I think they lose by 3.
Yep.
I think it's close. I will say, Addison, I don't know if you want to change your pick based on this, but Bobby is mortal locking the Chiefs minus 3.5, and he is 0-2 on mortal locks. Right. Okay, you're staying with it. Okay. Even before I knew that, though, I do think I'm on Atlanta a little bit here. Coming back, big win in Philadelphia. That's a hard place to play. Yeah. Cousins maybe starting to get his feet wet just a little bit, get the offense rolling. Some Bijan Robinson looks damn explosive. Kansas City's defense is just as good as Philly's, if not better, though. It's going to be a close game. I really do like the 3.5 hook. I don't think the Falcons win, but the Chiefs just don't cover ever. It took a literal toe for them to cover against the Ravens and to win that game. And then it took a pass interference on 4th and 16 just to win the game, just to beat the Bengals. So I like Atlanta in this spot to cover the 3.5. I don't think win, but I like them to cover the 3.5. Colin.
I also am on Atlanta, which makes it a little nervous. I don't want it to be like an overreaction for what we saw, because I don't necessarily think Atlanta looked great last night. They showed flashes. Love Drake London and Kirk Cousins' connection. Love Darnell Mooney.
Yeah.
No, he had that in his bag.
Yeah,
he actually had a.
Oh, he does. He just never got thrown the ball.
Never got
He's
thrown
never
the ball.
looked at him.
And then he talked.
He'd get wide
Chicago
open.
to do
and
something.
he'd be-
Yeah, and then he talked about Bijan looking explosive. I think Algier looked just as explosive
always
as
has.
well. Pacheco going to IR, I think, is going to be huge for the Chiefs.
Yes.
I believe he went to IR.
He did.
Smart JP run. I think they
Carson
said
Steele.
Kareem Hunt's back.
Yeah,
Kareem Hunt's
good.
back.
Pick him up.
Well,
Yeah.
Watch out, ladies, in
Watch
Kansas
out.
City.
Uh-huh.
Allegedly. Actually,
Allegedly.
not allegedly.
Convicted.
But convicted, not allegedly. Give me Atlanta here, plus 3.5.
Okay, I like
Still
it.
allegedly just easy.
Still allegedly, right? I wasn't there. Allegedly. All right, Monday night. We've got a Monday night doubleheader. We've got the Jacksonville Jaguars traveling to Buffalo to take on the Buffalo Bills. Bobby's on the Jags. I am like aggressively the other direction, honestly. I'm big Buffalo minus 5.5 in this spot. Jags have looked awful. Trevor Lawrence, the last 7 games. Do you guys know what his record is? It's 0-7. It's 0-7 his last 7 games. He hasn't won a game in 7 starts. Not all on him. Let's not. But only 13 points against the Browns. Ugly. Only 17 points against Miami. Ugly. Like, you got to get going at some point, but Buffalo's not a team to get going against, and Buffalo is a beast. And they're September champs, man. They're so good in the month of September every single year. That's not going to change here. And Buffalo's going to roll in this one. And next week, our power rankings, we're going to be like, Chiefs are still 1, but Buffalo's right there. And then the Chiefs are going to fall, and we're going to be like, Buffalo's number 1. And then they're going to be 4 and 6. And we're going to be like, they got us again, bitches. Give me Buffalo minus 5.5 here, though. Addison.
I'm actually riding with Bob and taking the Jags here, plus the 5.5.
Big Jags guy.
I'm going to use the same logic I used last week that Jacksonville has a stout run defense, but Buffalo doesn't have a Myles Garrett to get in the backfield and abuse the Jacksonville tackles like Cleveland was able to. I just think it could be a low-scoring game, although Buffalo has scored points, but it's because of a stout run offense, and I think they're going to run into a tough defense, at least run-wise in Jacksonville, and I think that's going to be enough to keep it close, and that's going to be enough to cover. So give me the Jags here. You know what, screw it, give me a money line.
Money on.
No, I'm taking a plus a 5.5.
No, I physically cannot take the Jacksonville Jaguars seriously this season. I mean, they've had a little step up with Trayvon Walker. He's looking like a stud right now, finally. And their run defense is pretty solid. But I feel like if that's all you have, I mean, Buffalo still has this guy named Josh Allen. Yeah. They still
Josh
have
Allen Hines. It's hyphen.
Well, Buffalo has.
Buffalo has.
I'm sorry, Jags. My bad.
Sorry. I understand the confusion. I understand the confusion.
My bad.
Buffalo still has Josh Allen.
They look they look like twins with the same name.
I'm gonna take the OG.
OG Josh Allen.
OG Josh Allen. Because I think he's going to distribute the ball just enough to, honestly, 5.5 sounds a little weak. I could see them winning this game by 10, which is kind of sad because Jacksonville has high expectations every year because they got Trevor, who is now the owner of Trevor Bank Stadium.
Trevor Bank Stadium.
Which he lost in. How do you get a stadium named after you and lose in it? Absolutely sad. This is such a sad thing. I think Doug Peterson's going to be on the chopping block soon. Yeah, I don't have much else to say.
The Lawrence stat on it, last 7 starts, 0-7, 1,600 pass yards, 10 touchdowns, 7 picks. That's not good. That's just not good.
He's mid.
Yeah,
mid.
Very mid.
He's mid. He needs a good team around him to win, and he doesn't have that right now.
Yeah, they don't. For some reason, but they brought in all kinds
And he
of
got paid,
talent,
right?
man.
Yeah, he got paid. So he'll be there for a while.
Oh, yeah,
He's
their guy. He's their guy.
I think he's the next Derek Carr.
Maybe. I don't know. Colin, what are your thoughts on this football game, my friend?
Buffalo at home in September on prime time as well. I see the route is on in this one. So give me the Bills minus 5.5. Whether it's Allen, whether it's Cook, whether it's Shakir, who looked great in the first half last week. Give me those Bills at home.
Yeah. And wrapping us up, we've got Washington Commanders going to Cincinnati. The line is Cincinnati minus 7.5. And I'm taking Washington, baby. Give me the Commanders plus the 7.5 points. I don't think that they're going to win this game, but Cincinnati, right, terrible first 2 weeks of season. Joe Burrow's 1-9 first week of season. Typically, they turn it on, and everyone's like, oh, they look good in the Chiefs game. They always look good against the Chiefs. Like, that's the only team they look good against is the Chiefs. They lost to the Patriots, and I'm not going to forget that anytime soon. People don't forget. I like Washington to cover the 7.5 here. I don't know how Cincinnati slows down Jane Daniels' running game. I don't know, man. Commanders aren't. I mean, 7 field goals against the Giants is pretty bad, right? That's pretty bad. But they won. They're 1-1. Jane Daniels did it. So, I mean, he's 220 yards. Didn't make a crucial mistake. Hasn't made that crucial mistake yet. He doesn't have any passing touchdowns, but he has no picks either. So just keep the game close and lose by a field goal. Thank you very much. Addison.
I'm on the Washington Commanders here, who are in first in their division due to head-to-head record. Shout out the G-men for being even worse. But Washington sure 7 field goals, but that at least means the ball was moving offensively a little bit. And in a spread this big, I'm going to take Washington. And sure, it's because I took them to win the division and I got to back them up. But it's also because it's a large spread against a team that played well against KC. Like you said, Nate, they always do. I don't have super belief. I'm sure T. Higgins will be back this week. If he's not, it's got to be getting to the point where it's concerning. And why didn't they IR him if he misses 3? But I'm on Washington here, plus the 7.5, kick 7 field goals, and lose 27-21.
Bingo.
Yeah. Washington was absolutely living in the Giants' red zone on Sunday. I mean, they got in there nearly every single time. They just couldn't close out. And by the theory of regression, they should transform some of those into touchdowns this week. You would think they have to. So I'm going to go with Washington as well. That 7.5 is really intriguing because they could just lose by a touchdown.
Yep.
That's a beautiful line. But Cincinnati's weakness is usually rushing quarterbacks. You know, they lose to a lot of rushing quarterbacks or guys that are at least somewhat mobile that can open up the field. And Jaden Daniels does that. I'd say he is the best rookie quarterback right now. And granted, he doesn't have the crazy weapons that Joe Burrow has on the other side, but Jamar Chase is not Jamar Chase right now.
No, he's not. He's angry.
And he said he's not signing a contract this year. So is this the Jamar Chase we're getting the entire year?
Yeah, probably. He's just going to be angry.
Are they just banking on Yosevas?
Which?
For
2 catches, 7 yards.
2 catches, 7 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Crazy stat
Love to see that. T. Higgins, I believe, is out again, correct? Is he on IR or is he just out?
Didn't place him on IR. No,
I didn't think so.
Yeah,
They really should have.
Open up the roster spot.
But T. Higgins, I mean, he's out. Jamar Chase not playing like Jamar Chase. Jermaine Burton had 1 big catch, but you can't really count on 1 big catch to win you every game. So I think Washington's just going to do just enough to cover the spread. I don't think they're going to win the game, but you don't got to win the game for me to get another game on you guys because I hate being in last place.
Very true.
Yeah. Colin, are we clean sweeping the Washington Commanders?
Yes.
In the year of our Lord and Savior, as
2024.
you said, God, I think we have to, right? As much as I don't want to sweep them, just for our own credibility's sake, and because Washington's Washington, screw them. I have to take them in this spot. I do think they do move the ball enough to make it interesting, and I just haven't bought into Cincinnati because why should I at this point in the season? So give me Washington plus a 7.5, and let's do the damn thing.
God. That is 5 clean sweeps this week. That's without a doubt the most we've ever had.
Trouble.
Yeah. Tampa Bay, Houston, Arizona, San Fran, and Washington. 0-5 on clean sweeps. Fade the clean sweeps, baby.
You might have to round robin it because one will sneak in.
One will sneak in, I bet you. Alrighty, Mortal Lock time, and I'm stealing this one before anyone else can. If maybe no one else wants it, I'm taking Tampa Bay minus 6.5 against Denver. I love Tampa Bay in this spot. They have been awesome so far this season. Denver has been bad so far this season. I like Tampa Bay minus 6.5. Don't overthink it. You ride with the Bucks. Addison, you got one?
Yeah, I'm putting nuts on table and I'm locking the Bears. Plus 1.5 against the Indianapolis Colts. It's basically money line, but hey, we can lose by 1, right?
Bingo.
I just think with the way the Indianapolis Colts defense is played, this is an opportunity for the Bears offense to at least look okay.
Yes.
And if they look okay and the way the defense is playing, they're going to cover. So give me the Bears as my immortal lock. Gross.
Jeez. My mortal lock, I also didn't think this would be a mortal lock anytime this season, but give me Tennessee over Green Bay at minus 2.5. I have no faith that Malik Willis is going to go 2-0 in starts before Jordan Love comes back. There's no possible way if that happens. I'm not going to say anything. If I say something, it's going to happen. But give me Tennessee.
Okay. And then Bobby obviously is on Kansas City minus 3.5 for his mortal lock. Colin, what you got for us?
This is a double whammy, and play it as you will. Maybe a triple whammy.
Oh.
Winless and mortal locks for 2 weeks.
Yep.
Team needs the win. Give me the Baltimore Ravens minus 1.5. That's my mortal locks for this week. Book it.
Minus 1.5. Okay. All right, man. This is weird. This year's been so weird so far, especially with mortals. Like the mortal lock record, we got to fix that.
Yeah.
That's bad. We're 2-8. through 2 weeks and you're locks. 2-8.
I'm one of the ones.
You're one of the wins, yeah.
5-1 on locks though.
Yeah, true. Which?
But 0-2 in more.
Are you ready with locks? You want to get into the locks?
Oh, I don't know.
Come on.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, so Colin's locks on the year, folks. 5-1 so far. I plan on betting them this weekend, fade them because I'm going to bet them this week. Colin, what do you got for your 3 locks of the week?
All right, last week treated us well. Arizona Cardinals team total in the first half over 12.5 points with 8 minutes left in the first quarter. They hit this last week. We're doing it again at home this week against Detroit's defense. I think they can move the ball once again. Over 12.5 first half Arizona team total. Next one up, Green Bay, Tennessee under 36.5 points. Will Levis on one side, Malik Willis on the other side. Yeah. I expect a defensive battle in this one. Give me under 36.5. Moneyline parlay to wrap it up, as we always do. Give me those Seahawks at home on the money line. Give me those Buffalo Bills at home on the money line.
Plus smack in my sack. Huh?
Plus 100 for the anti-Nate money line parlay.
The anti-Nate parlay.
And we'll see. And we'll see at 8-1 on next week's show.
Wow, that is brutal. The anti-Nate parlay. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah, let me get the Dolphins to lose and the Bills to win. Addison, outrageous take time.
Tua's retired. No. Outrageous take for this week. It's going to be Washington coming away with a victory, just straight up money line. And give me Luke McCaffrey, Sage's sleeper last week. He had a good week 1. Most targets week 1, I'm pretty sure, for the Washington Commanders should be other name. Yeah. But give me Luke McCaffrey to score 2 touchdowns. Jaden Daniels gets his first 2, and they're both to Luke McCaffrey in a victory over Cincinnati. And they should be the Washington. I'm not going to say it, but they should be.
Love it. Keep Cincinnati down.
So week 1, Patriots opened at 9.5 dogs, won outright. Last week, Raiders 9.5 dogs, won outright. Bengals are tied with the Niners for the biggest spread of the week.
Which one of those is winning? It's Washington.
I will say last week the 5 biggest spreads all failed to cover. Last week, all the 5 biggest spreads all failed to cover.
But losing out, I like that too.
Yeah, that's a great.
That's wild.
Sage,
that's wild.
fantasy sleepers. There's been a ton of injuries. I don't know if you guys know. Sawyer's team is ravaged. Sawyer has 2 quarterbacks. Jordan Love, Tua Tagovailoa.
That's a sad
I traded
day.
him Matthew Stafford, who just lost both of his wide receivers, so he is hurting.
And you got a first-round pick out of that.
Yeah, I got a first-round pick out of that trade. Great trade. And Nico Collins, who put up 20.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, fantastic trade.
I wish I got there sooner.
Yep. Yes.
Wish I took advantage of
Fantasy
him.
sleepers, what you got?
All right, so obviously with all these injuries, some things are popping up right now. First one, Isaiah Pacheco's out. You know who's still there? Samaje Perine, who is notorious for catching balls out of the backfield, right? Take that how you will. He will absolutely score at least 1 touchdown in this game. I'm certain about it right now. The only other person he has to compete against is Carson Steele, who is absolutely slow as a snail. Dude can only do what?
He's white. Milk check.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Smart player, hard-nosed player.
Yeah, first one in, last one out kind of guy.
Yeah. Sneaky athletic, but he's just strong, you know? He's just strong. He's going to be used for those short yardage distances. Give me Samaje Perine in that first slot for RB. For second slot for RB, give me Justice Hill of the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, okay.
Obviously, you'd like to see Derrick Henry take most of this, but with Derrick Henry, for some reason, we don't run the ball with him. And I'm just thinking like a Ravens fan right now. And Justice Hill is going up against the last-rated run defense in the entire league. He catches balls out of the backfield, and he's got speed. So I think he's going to catch a few balls, run for about 50, and put up maybe a tutty. Score about 15 points for you. Not a bad day. For wide receivers, I got 2 for you. First one, I never thought I'd say this. Quentin Johnston.
Oh.
Yeah.
He scored 2 tutties last week.
Yeah.
And
Which means you're a week late.
just means no. Because he's scoring 4 this week. No, Quentin Johnston. I think he's going to gain confidence from last week, and it's only going to go up from here. Justin Herbert hopefully instills some confidence in him, and he's got confidence to throw to him now, especially if they get into the red zone because of that rushing attack they have. Give me Quentin Johnston, and then second one is going to be Jordan Whittington.
Oh.
The Rams have to throw to someone, right? Yeah. I mean, someone's got to catch the ball. And last year, Puka was what, 5th, 6th round?
5th rounder.
5th rounder? Yep. They got a 6th rounder this year. And that's Jordan Whittington. Someone's got to catch the ball.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say. They loved him in preseason. He was absolutely lighting people up in preseason, third stringers. But But San Francisco, they got kind of shit on last week with Jalen Naylor even. You know, I mean, they had a 97-yarder ago. Jordan Addison wasn't on the field. So hopefully, I mean, Jordan Whittington can at least catch some volume and get you some points right there.
Okay, I like that in PPR setting. I like that a lot.
Right on.
Yeah, Jordan Whittington. Okay. That's all I got for this week, for week 3 of the NFL season. You guys will have, your typical Dolphins review coming out sooner rather than later. It's going to be sad, but they're coming. Maybe we'll get one for their teams eventually. Who knows? We'll see what happens. That's all I've got for you guys this week for week 3 in the NFL, and we will see you guys in the next one.
Right on. Peace.